So Amfest, right? Wow. I thought it was interesting. So I will be watching it, and I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. So Ben Shapiro surprised me. Not surprised me as in what he did, but how he did it. It was so clear. It was so well done, and I think it's something that we need to learn on the right. It's a skill that he has, and for being such a person of unimposing countenance, it requires extreme bravery to do what he did. Let's go ahead and get into it. Thank you, or rather, welcome to the Ripple Effect. So first of all, I kind of wanted to cover the TPUSA thing. I don't think that it was an accident that the first person speaking after Erica Kirk was Ben Shapiro. I don't think that at all. I think that was planned. I think that was intended. And they've been trying to play this game, and I've been calling them out for it because they've been trying to play this game of not calling out Candace, but then kind of calling out Candace, and not calling out the people that defend Candace, but kind of doing it. And it's this weird game, and it's just so irritating. And I think they sent a message by having Ben be the person who was the first one after Erica to talk by saying, we endorse this. Because there's no way they didn't know what Ben Shapiro was going to talk about. There's no way. He's been keeping it silent, getting it ready for, and it makes sense why he was not reiterating on this topic, because he knew he was going to be talking about it when it came to Amfest. And the bravery and the topic, I think this is the most important thing, is we've been talking about it on this channel, and we've been saying the right needs truth. The right needs truth, and truth comes from the Bible, okay? And I don't have it here with me right now, unfortunately. It's in the auditorium, but we need truth. And when you're listening to people who will not give you truth because of their, quote, relationships or whatever else, stop listening to them and go find a small channel. Because I'm not the only one. I've been seeing a bunch of small channels pop up, and I've been so impressed and so happy with seeing them grow. I want to grow. I want to see them grow because there's small channels out there that owe no one anything. And because they don't owe anyone anything, and they don't owe anyone any relationships or anything else, they're able to just speak the truth and be honest with you. And this is what we need. We don't need Tucker Carlson's. We don't need Megyn Kelly's. We don't need all these other people. And I could name other people too. I like Michael Knowles, but he's got his issues with being pansied when it comes to this kind of thing. Officer Tatum has been just absolute garbage with this whole thing when it comes to Candace Owens. And he's been losing his focus on a lot of things because he's just gotten so big. And part of that is, if you speak the truth, you probably won't ever get big enough that you'll lose the truth. And that's true. That's very true. People have always been chasing the dollar, and if you're a small enough channel that you're not chasing the dollar, good for you. That's great. That's wonderful. But I wanted to get into that whole thing, and this is the idea that Ben brought up of not having vagaries. And honestly, they tried responding. They tried responding to Ben, and there was like the clash of these two titans and all that kind of stuff, and it wasn't even close. They were not able to do anything, and Ben absolutely killed it on the topic of clarity. Absolutely killed it. And I wanted to go over some of the topics that he actually said, or some of the things that he said, and I thought it was so good. Some of these statements were so impressive and so amazing. And again, I'm not 100% behind Ben. He is overly heady and high-minded when it comes to finances. I think he's lost the ball when it comes to the normal people in the world, right? When it comes to housing and corporations and all that kind of stuff, he's lost it. But he is good on clarity and truth, and I'll give him that. He said, victory without truth is victory for a lie, and that is no victory at all. And he's talking about we can win elections, and we could do all these things, but if we're not actually giving the truth, what are we giving them? What victory are we gaining if we can't give the truth, okay? If we don't have that. Another line he said, unity without truth is no unity. It is merely solidarity and camouflage for corruption. Wow. All these people that are saying, we need to unify, we need to come together, we need to bring it together. And all it is camouflaging all the garbage that you're letting into the tent. And again, I'm okay with the big tent thing for getting someone elected. I understand that. Trump had to have that. I get that. I fully understand that. But when it comes down to it, we need to make sure that we're clear on why we're doing what we're doing and why we're bringing things in. And I love the fact that Nicki Minaj was there. But I'm also kind of hesitant. I get very hesitant when someone who has been of the left has done weird things in the past and has a colored history comes in and all of a sudden is good to go. We want him at TPUSA. We want him speaking for us at the UN. And all that. Guys, I was concerned about Kanye when he started going off and he started becoming, supposedly Christian and doing whatever. He has his ups and downs. Don't put your eggs all in one basket. Don't give your eggs to someone who you don't know if they're gonna take care of them, right? You have to make sure you're careful of your associations because of that. But I think that was so good. The fact that solidarity sometimes means you're camouflaging corruption. Because you're saying, I'm willing to not say something about Candace because we're friends and we need to be a unified right. Hogwash. Nonsense. Call out garbage when you see it. Call it out. And he also had another quote. This country relies on truth because real lasting victory cannot be achieved without truth. And this is the main topic. He was nailing it down for truth. And if you're out there and you're listening to this, and I'm going to put it on there with the subheader, Candace and all that kind of stuff, just to get these people to watch it. If you're out there and you cannot see the truth, ask yourself why you cannot see the truth in this situation. If you're only hating on Ben because it's Ben, you're wrong. If you're only going, and on the other side, if you're only going after Candace because you hate Candace, you're also wrong. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free, okay? Know the truth. Dive into it. Dive into the garbage that Candace is saying. Dive into when Ben Shapiro's wrong. I point it out here all the time. Know the truth. Follow the truth and listen to the truth. And if someone says something that's not the truth, know enough to say no. Know enough to wake yourself up from it and say, even though I like this person, they're not covering the truth. Let me pull them out of the situation. I think that was the best lesson that could be learned from this whole Amfest thing. I loved Ben Shapiro's 5 obligations. He said, today I wanted to discuss 5 obligations that people who speak to you on matters of importance have to you. Our first duty is truth, and we owe you the truth. And I thought that was so good because I had set in my mind what I wanted to do with this microphone. I want to build a channel. I want thousands of viewers on my channel. I want thousands of subscribers on my channel. But if I can't give you truth, I can't give you anything. And if I'm leading you astray because of my personal feelings, I'm not giving you the truth. And we have to have truth of anything. If America is going to be strong, and we're going to have a festival, Amfest, right, to celebrate America, how wonderful America is, America has to be built on truth. And even on Declaration of Independence and Constitution, and you can see this working in the original documents where it says we find these truths to be self-evident, where they're laying out truths and saying we're fighting against the lies of the British. We're laying out what is true. And the person who gets to determine what truth is God. And we learn what truth is from his word. But he also says, because we owe you the truth, we owe you the duty to speak out of principle, not personal feeling. And this is one of the hardest things to do is there are maybe topics that you may not want to talk about if you have a mic. But if it's true and it's something that should be out there, you need to do it. And if you like someone, you have a principled requirement to call out someone for doing something wrong, especially if you're in association with them. Whenever things are hidden, that's when problems happen. And power is gained by people that should not have it. Here it says, it should not matter whether we despise or love the people we are talking about. It should matter whether what we are saying is true. And Officer Tatum, this is a big message to you. You keep saying how much you love Candace, You guys are friends, and I don't know, you hang out and do stuff together. I don't care. But if you love them or despise them, it should not matter. You should be able to call out truth. And this is true of Biden when he was in power. This is true of any Democrat politician. We should be able to call out the truth when we despise them and call out the truth when we like them. I'm talking about conservatives as well. And I love the final point here. And I'm not going to go too long on this because I think there's a lot of people going to be talking about it. But vagueness. This is the very, very root of what gives the power to people like Candace and what gives the power to people like Nick Fuentes is they give you a little bit of truth, and they give you a little bit of truth, but then that vagueness comes in, and with that vagueness, they're able to work it. And you can kind of see this even in churches when people try to give you a little bit of the truth of God's word, and they'll read like one passage, right? And then they start giving this long delineation on it, and then just make it so vague so that they can control the narrative and control how you understand and view it. That is the problem. And when someone like Candace, Nick Fuentes, Tucker, all these people give you a little bit of truth, and then cloud it in a cloud of vagueness, we get played. And Candace is playing us. Nick Fuentes is playing you. Young people, Young people, if you're watching this, Nick doesn't care about you. He's playing you. People who watch Candace, Candace does not care about the truth. She's playing you. But I like what he says here. He says, we should not say things like, they shot Charlie, without specifying what we mean by they. And he's calling out Candace on that by saying, but she was talking about the Jews. But she's like, I'm not talking about the Jews. I'm talking about they are the people out there. I'm not calling them vagueness. Say what you think and say what you believe. And he follows it up with, when people say they shot Charlie Kirk, they are trafficking in vagary that increases hatred without posing any effective response. Because this is the point that is made. When Candace can say they, and she's implying that it's the Jews, but because she's not actually technically saying the Jews, then all of her minions and all of her trolls can get out there and start attacking. And you have almost no defense against it, because when you try to defend against this wickedness, this vague, horrible crap, garbage, then they say, well, Candace never said that. Candace never said that. And you see this, you saw it with Megyn Kelly, who's turned into an absolute crappy human being, which I'm sad to say, because I actually liked Megyn for a very long time there, doing the good work. Very, very proud of her for a long time there. But when she, of all people, goes after Ben Shapiro and calls him out because, well, Candace actually hasn't gone after Erica. Yes, she had. She'd done it in vagaries and vagueness, and almost calling her out, to almost literally saying her name. And everyone knew what she was saying, but that vagueness was horrible. And this is why it's so important what Ben Shapiro had said in his speech here, calling out the vagueness and saying, we should not do vagueness. You need to be clear about what you're saying and stand by what you say. Also, he said, we are obligated not to slander or smear our political opponents with conspiracy theories or innuendos. Say the truth. If someone's done something wrong, then say the truth. He said, the future of the conservative movement depends on commitment to truth, not on grift, not on clickbait, not on rage bait. Which is why one of the key things about growing a channel is find what does well and then go off on it. And I refuse to constantly go after Candace, because honestly, that's what gets me going. Or Nick Fuentes. It'll get thousands of views sometimes because of who it is. And no, guys, I want the truth out there. I want to give the truth from a perspective that's godly. I want to give it the truth from a perspective that's whole and complete and truthful and honest and straightforward. And that's why I constantly focus on giving you that and not just chasing the salacious views. Because that doesn't build goodness. That does not build strength in our people. And this channel is about building people up. That's why we're talking about this. And I love the ending that he goes to with regards to the grift. And he said, if anyone who tries to convince you that you are helpless in this greatest country in the world is lying to you and making your life worse. And whereas I don't agree 100% with Ben that we have the same potential as we used to have, but when you tell someone that their hands are handcuffed and that they can't pull themselves up by their bootstraps, you're playing into them and you're handcuffing them yourself. If I tell someone they can't do something, enough times of telling them they can't do it, they'll think they can't do it. But we can grow. We can do better. You can get good things in this country if you work hard and do it. You still can. It's still out there. It's hard. It's not easy, but it requires work. And people don't want to work. And that's why they like it so much when someone says they can't, because it takes the onus off of you of being great. It takes the onus off of you working hard and says someone else did it to you. You can't achieve because someone else did it to you. It's the same thing what the left is saying to the lefties and saying, well, you're so oppressed and so on like this, instead of saying, do something good. And remember, if we focus on God and we look to God and we say, God, we need you. We need to focus on you because we love you. Then even if you don't get the house that you want, if you don't get the job that you want, if you don't get whatever you want, but you have a family and you're growing and you're trying to do what's right and you're in a good church and you're doing all the things that you can to be a benefit out there, you've had a good life and you've accomplished something good. Because you can look around the world and the Christians everywhere are being destroyed and attacked, and it's horrible. And we are so blessed to be in this country. And you can sit there and hide your face and say, but I don't get what I want. I don't have the monies and everything else that I want. I understand. I get it. But if you can go that direction. Or you can say, I'm going to pull myself by my bootstraps and do the best that I can. I want to work hard at it. Because I'm not going to let that feeling of someone else defeating me last. And then he said, the final thing that he was talking about is God and his gratitude for America. And he said, far more important duties to God and to yourself, to do the best for yourself and to your family and your country with the abilities God gave you. And that just repeats what I just said. And it says, we have the extraordinary good fortune to be alive in the United States at this time in history with the greatest set of tools in human hands and a duty to make the most of the opportunity. You have the duty to be grateful for this extraordinary country, to celebrate what we've all been given, and to fight to preserve it. All of that begins with truth. And I'm going to end it there. I think that is the most powerful thing that he could say, is that if you want to build this country, if we want to succeed in this country, you want to have a house, you want to build a house, you want to have a good job, you want to have a good family, and you want to have the economic money that you need to have. And I know at this time it's hardest than ever, Christmas gifts and so on and all that kind of thing. You want to be able to have the affluence that you would like. It starts with truth. And how I can help you the most is by telling you to get out there and work hard and grow and learn like me. I am far from where I need to be. But if I can just try a little bit every day to be better, that's my goal. Just a little bit every day to be better. Then we can take this mentality and that mindset and build a country that we're proud of. We can build ourselves into something that we're proud of through God and through the power that he gives us and the strength that he gives us. And you can affect people around you by changing your mentality and saying, I'm not downtrodden. I'm going to fight for what I believe. And then you help one person next to you and the other person next to them, and you continue to help them, and we can create a ripple effect that changes everything. And how we do that is starting here, listening to good people, giving you good information. And if that's not me for you, that's fine. But listen to someone and build a channel up. Make a channel powerful because you have helped them. Someone who you can trust, someone who gives you the truth, and someone who won't lie to you and will call out bad people when people do bad things. And even sometimes good people when they do bad things. Sometimes that's what's necessary. Thank you so much for watching The Ripple Effect. I enjoy every minute I get to spend with you guys, and I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and promote the channel out there. Get it out there. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for watching.